everybody, this is Ryan Doze. Welcome to the first episode of Across the Bifrost, episode 0, My Journey into Mystery. I want to start out by saying thank you so much for listening to this first episode, this new adventure that I'm going to go on with the character of Thor over the next, I hope years. It's going to be a lot of fun. More importantly, I want to break down and tell you what this show is, where this show came from, and where I hope it's going. I have always been a fan of all things nerdy. When I was a kid, I really gravitated to things like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, and eventually that led to a love of superheroes. In fact, my love of fantasy, like Lord of the Rings, really led into my love of superheroes because it was the good versus evil and the good guys trying to do the right thing and defeat the evil that was out there. And superheroes really connected that to my heart, my little nerd heart, really well. And then 2011 happened and this guy named Thor came on to the scene, at least in my world. When the 2011 movie Thor came out, I was blown away. I did not know how to contain my excitement. The hammer, the lightning, the gods, Asgard, being this monumental glowing city in front of us as we're watching on the screen. I was completely enraptured by this movie. And it made me want to know more about the character. He instantly connected with me. He was my favorite Avenger from day one, but I wanted to know more about him. I want to know more about his world, so I would grab the occasional comic book. I didn't really live near a place with a comic book store, but whenever I could find something about Thor, I would read it. Whenever I could find a game that he was in, I would play it. Whenever I found a little collectible of his, I would get it. And I collected all these little pieces of Thor. But I never really felt like I had enough. I never felt like I understood the character enough. That has led me all the way up into today. Now, since I was a junior hire, hiding my comic books, from the bullies at school, ever since those days, I have had this in the back of my mind that I wanted to do something and explore the character. But I also knew that there were other people out there that loved this character as well, but maybe didn't have a place to go to share their experience of the character that I love so much. This podcast was really born out of that, simply a fan that wanted to share a love for a character. Because I looked around the podcasting world, and I found podcasts for Iron Man and for Captain America and Spider-Man and the X-Men, and those are all awesome characters. I love them as well. But I found that Thor was not as represented as maybe I wanted him to be. So even though I'm not an expert on the character, I have so much more to learn about him. I figured I would jump into the ring, I would dip my toe in the water, and I would start this podcast, Across the Bifrost, for fans of Thor to celebrate and explore the world of Marvel's mighty Thor. Why Across the Bifrost, though? It honestly, it does kind of sound a little odd, but it's got a great story behind it, because I was really struggling over the last few months as I was preparing and wanting to launch this podcast. I was struggling with what to call it, because I wanted the name to make sense not only to Thor fans, but I wanted the name to communicate where I want to take this podcast. And a friend of mine looked at the list of names I had come up with. I had come up with about 6 or 7 names, and they sounded cool, but really none of them are resonating with me. A friend of mine who is also going to be a future guest on the show, he suggested, well, why don't you call it Across the Bifrost? And instantly, this name made sense to me. Because much like Thor has to travel from Asgard to Earth, he has to try and understand a world that he's not used to. He has to connect with them in a way that, a God connects with people, that he's somewhat like, but he's not completely like them. He has to go on this journey. He has to explore what it means to live on earth. And I think that really, really resonated with me, because through this podcast, I hope that we together can jump into the world of Thor and grow in an appreciation of this character together. Hence why I called this episode our journey into mystery. Thor's adventures began in Journey into Mystery 83. It was a Marvel house book where Marvel put all these characters and these stories that they couldn't give their own titles to at the time. Because at the time, Marvel had a really limited amount of books they could put characters into. So Thor started out in Journey into Mystery. A little bit of a nerdy sidebar for you. We're going to get a lot of Journey into Mystery in throughout the run of this show. Across the Bifrost is going to try and do this by doing interviews with people. With connecting with creators and cosplayers and, interviewing them, doing top 10 lists so we can see who Thor's biggest villains are, his greatest story arcs, his funniest moments in the MCU, things like that. We're going to do book reviews where we're going to look back at a specific story of Thor's and just pick it apart for our own enjoyment and appreciation. There's so many different things that I have in mind to do, and I hope that you're going to join me for every single one of them. Here's how the show is going to work, just so you have a heads up and you know what to expect out of Across the Bifrost every week. On Monday, we will release some kind of new content, whether it be one of those interviews, a book review, a recap, maybe a spotlight on a specific aspect of Thor's world. Those are going to come out on Monday. So don't miss every Monday. Be sure to follow right now on Spotify, and we will get those up right away on Friday so you can enjoy them. Then on Thursdays, we're going to go through Thor's history. We're going to start at Journey into Mystery 83, and we are going to go all the way through Thor's history. We're going to do it in small increments, but I hope to eventually have covered all of Thor's main title run and thus his history, his characters, his stories, the epic battles, the defeats, the victories, everything that Thor has experienced. I hope to do on Thursday for Throwback Thursday. See what I did there? Yeah. We're going to do that on Throwback Thursday. We're going to go into his history and the comics that made the character so famous. Everybody, thank you again for listening to this episode 0. I really hope that together we can grow in an appreciation of this character. One who has existed for decades in the imagination and the minds of so many people. I believe that he can connect with you in some way. Yes, he is fictional. I completely understand that. But fictional characters have such a wealth of wisdom and experience and joy and hope to share with us, because they come from the hearts of real people. Real people write this fictional character, and I believe that through those real people's storytelling, we can learn some stuff about ourselves, and we can have fun with it along the way. I just want to say thank you for joining us for this first episode. Thank you for getting on this podcast and listening. I know I've said thank you like a dozen times, but I truly do mean it. I've wanted to do this for a long time, and I appreciate any support you are willing to give. So if you're interested, go and follow the show's accounts. There's social media accounts that we've set up for the show. On Instagram, we are at Across the Bifrost. And on Twitter, we are at Across Bifrost. Go on there, connect with us, chat with us, talk about Thor with us. It is one of the main reasons I wanted to start this show, was to connect with people, and social media is going to be a great way to do that. As you're following along with the show, be sure to follow us on Spotify so that you don't miss an episode when we post them You can also connect with us through the Anchor app. You can even leave us a voice message there, and we might even play that on the show. So you can actually be a part of the show. That would be really cool and exciting if you wanted to be on the show as well. That would be spectacular. We hope you enjoyed the first episode of Across the Bifrost, and we can't wait to jump on the Rainbow Bridge with you again. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and remember, friends, stay worthy.